Hello and welcome back to Late Diagnosis ADHD podcast. Hi, Jules.
Hi, it's been a while.
It has. Ask me about all the amazing things I've been up to, Jules, since our little break.
James, what amazing things have you been up to?
Well, nothing.
Nothing?
No.
No, you've been...
I've been working.
Yes. You've been a stay-at-home dog dad while the dog mum gallivants around the world.
Yeah, that was not great.
No.
I mean, it was great. I like time to myself, but not that much.
No.
What have you been up to, Jules?
Oh, thanks so much for asking.
you're welcome.
I was away in Europe on my let's go tick off the bucket list trip, and it was awesome. I went to Paris.
Yeah.
Then I went through Italy.
It was for work, right?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
It was a conference.
It was a conference. Yeah. It was definitely a work trip.
Mm.
Yes. And by bucket list, I meant naturopathic conference.
Yeah.
Yes. It was amazing. I loved it.
How long did the conference go for, Jules?
3 weeks. No, it only went for 3 days.
It went for 3 days, listeners.
Yes.
And Jules stretched it out to 3 weeks.
I did, because I needed to do a lot of research on naturopathy, herbal medicine, and food while I was there. And gluten. I did eat a lot of gluten, and it was amazing. Yes.
So we're back. We had a little break.
We
just had to.
Because I imploded, because I was overseas. And we just decided to, rather than put out a shit quality podcast, to put out none.
Yeah, we didn't want to put a shitter out.
No shitters.
So we're back. And yes.
Can I say a quick thank you to everyone? And there were several of you listening.
Yep.
To everyone who told me to cancel my Italian language app off my phone so that I'm no longer paying a subscription to it since I've gotten back from Italy. So yes, to everyone, I have cancelled Duolingo. Thank you to everyone who told me to cancel that subscription. You've saved me so much money, and I love you all.
Amazing. Thanks, everyone.
This is the thing about our community, James.
It is.
We're
all here to help
everyone
and each other. And I think it's important, Julie, for us to mention that this is our very first video podcast.
I know, it's weird. Hi.
So if you've ever wondered what we look like, you probably haven't, because it's on our little
Instagram
thing. But if you want to see us move, we're not robots. Check us out somewhere. Yeah, we'll tell you later.
On the YouTube. We're going to put this on the YouTubes, everyone.
YouTubes.
Yes.
So that's important that everyone knows that. But also, Jules, today,
yes,
it's an interesting one, because I'm going to interview you.
Excellent.
And we're going to take advantage of Julie's vast naturopathic knowledge.
No pressure.
And as you know, she's been a naturopath they have been a naturopath for many years. So we thought we'd talk about some diet related things.
Yes, because I do see a fair few ADHDers in practice.
Yes.
And being one myself, and also wifing the shit out of you for 25 years, there's some things that we do diet wise that I think really help. Yeah.
So I guess the first thing I would ask you, Julie, is what can people do to improve their diet?
Yeah, well, I mean, we all know we're meant to, in inverted commas, eat better, right? But what does that even mean for an ADHDer?
Yeah.
When we are ADHDers, we are often prone to fluctuations in energy levels and massive fluctuations in focus that go along with that. Yes. And so sometimes the usual kind of eat right kind of diet rules don't necessarily work for us or apply to us, because we're a little bit more sensitive than the average person.
Yeah.
And what I've found with a lot of my ADHD clients and myself, and even you, is we're prone to blood sugar ups and downs and those swings in energy levels. So if you've ever like fallen in a heap at like 3:30 in the afternoon, you'll know what I'm talking about when you get that real blood sugar drop. So like when I'm talking about blood sugar fluctuations, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to get diabetes or something like that. It just means that you process the sugars and the carbs that you eat differently to other people. And sometimes you go from having quite high highs to quite low lows. And so a lot of ADHDers, when they eat lunch, you know, especially like they eat breakfast, they eat lunch, they're going to go towards foods that are quick to eat and quick to prepare, because they're just like, I don't have time for this. I'm just going to smash something down and get going. And so they'll often eat, like we all do it, like carbs without a lot of protein attached to it. And so maybe like some toast with a bit of jam, or like peanut butter or Vegemite or something like that.
I love peanut butter.
Yeah, and and sometimes like you just follow that with coffee, and then you're out the door.
I was going to say, Jules, that 2:30 for some people who might be in an office environment, that's prime lineup at the coffee shop time, isn't it?
Yeah, but for an ADHDer, it's possibly like their fourth, fifth, or sixth coffee of the day, because let's face it, like sometimes that's what happens. So yeah, it is prime lineup for the coffee time. It's also prime if I've had too many coffees and I'm feeling a bit jittery, or if I'm not into coffee, it's prime smash bar of chocolate time. Or smash a packet of Jelly Babies, or whatever your thing is.
Snickers.
Do
Chiquito.
they even still make Chiquitos?
They sure do.
Oh, stop it. How do you know that?
Because I stare at them in the supermarket and remember good times with them.
Good times. So what happens? Let's get back to breakfast and lunch, right? So
so let's get back to breakfast.
What happens, right, is you have your toast or you have your cereal, but you haven't had much protein, and your blood sugar goes up. And if your blood sugar goes up, you're going to feel good for about sort of 20 minutes or so. You're going to be like, oh, I feel really kind of warm and cozy and happy, and it's giving me a little bit of a boost, and I feel really great, and that's awesome. But what then happens is your poor old insulin has to come out to deal with that. And insulin, when it comes out to deal with that high blood sugar, it actually makes you feel tired and sleepy. So you go from having really high blood sugar to having this dive where your blood sugar drops, but now your insulin's up, and now you're like tired, sleepy, grumpy, emotional. And that's where hangry comes from, people. Right. And then when you're hangry, when you're in that moment, what's the thing we reach for? Like if your brain, brain runs on glucose, right? Unless you're in ketosis. If you're on a ketogenic diet, that's different. But everyone else, right? So 99% of people listening, their brain runs on glucose, right? Your brain, when your blood sugar drops, is going to ask you for glucose. So that's when the food cravings start. And ADHD is, we're so amazing at having food cravings, aren't we? Like we will then go, oh my God, I want to like eat all the things. And so we will then reach for the thing that gives us the glucose hit. So we'll be like, right, sugar. Like, and then if you go, oh no, I'm not having sugar right now because I'm trying to be healthy, you'll be like, oh, dried fruit. Or maybe some white processed carbohydrates, or chips. If you're not a sweet person but you're a savory person, you go for chips, but they turn into glucose really quickly. And so then you end up on this what we call blood sugar roller coaster, where you go up and then you go down, and then you eat and you go up and then you go down, and that will set you up for having a day where you're constantly losing focus and losing momentum at points throughout the day when that blood sugar dives. So what are we going to do instead? So, well, I thought I was interviewing you, Julie. Okay. Anyway. But you know the answer to this because you've lived with me for 25 years. I do know that. And look, we're not perfect. I do occasionally have a Chiquito. It's very rare. And look, my diet's not perfect, but he hides the wrappers. He used to hide the wrappers for the chocolate bars in the car door, and then I found all the wrappers in the car door. I didn't hide them. If I was hiding them, that's not really the spot to hide them, is it? I put them there because I don't want to litter. Oh. So what can people eat? Yeah, what can people eat? Because I had this problem. So I used to have trouble with breakfast, and I would know that, you know, a couple of bits of toast, I'd be starving, you know, not long after. So what can people do in place of the standard Australian brekkie diet? The standard Australian diet, SAD, yes. And also works for American diet. What we would want to do instead is have a high protein option, and you can still have some carbs, but they need to be slow burning carbs. So nothing white, starchy, sugary. Instead, like things that burn slowly in the body, things that turn into glucose slowly, so that you get your glucose drip fed into the body rather than all slammed in all at once.
What sort of things are those?
So
do I eat those?
Yes.
Okay.
So whole grains.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
like
breakfast though?
well, if you're going to have a piece of toast, at least make it like a grainy sourdough,
Okay.
whole grain brown, like buckwheat or rye or
Yep.
something where it doesn't look white and fluffy and starchy. And like, you know, if it's lunch or dinner, you could do like brown rice or quinoa or sweet potato instead. So think like things that have got a bit more substance, a bit more color. Or I had a lecturer at college who made it really simple. They were like, just how long does it take you to chew it and swallow it? And think about it, if you're eating like a piece of like white bread from the supermarket, you could probably like chew that in like no time at all. But then if I hand you a piece of like really dense like sourdough, it takes you longer to chew it, right?
Right.
So yeah, if something is like easily chewed and dissolved in the mouth, like it's probably going to drive up your blood sugar. That's like a general, you know, general rule of thumb. So yeah, so we want things that burn slowly, like, you know, nuts, seeds, whole grains, like colorful vegetables rather than white potato, etc., etc., so that then if combined with protein, you actually don't get that high, you don't get that same blood sugar high, so you don't get that same kind of like 20 minutes later feeling like super amazing. But we all know you don't want that because you're going to fall too far.
That's right.
So you have more of a gentle up and then like a rounded curve rather than a big roller coaster dive. And then what happens is that later in the morning, instead of reaching for sugar because you're desperate, you're just a little bit hungry and you make a better, healthier snack choice from there. You might go some fruit, some nuts, some seeds, like something, you know, maybe some veggie sticks and hummus, you know, some peanut butter on some like, you know, something dense. So that like that way you are still having some protein and some slow burning carbs, and then that gets you through to lunchtime. And then if at lunchtime, instead of having your sandwich it's got like fuck all protein in it, instead you're having like a palm-sized portion of protein with your lunch. So that's like, you know, if you look at your hand sideways, that's like a fair bit of protein, right? So that's like 150, 200 grams of like meat, fish, chicken, or if you're veggie, like some chickpeas or kidney beans or something like that, maybe some nuts and seeds, bit of goat's cheese, a couple of eggs, and then you have that with your veggies, your salad or your brown rice or whatever, then that's going to carry you through the rest of the day. And then you make healthier snack choices in the arvo too.
So I guess, but what I'm hearing here is a key point I think we need to raise here, Jules, is that this sounds like a lot, you know, particularly for people who maybe work in the city and they go out and get lunch and they just grab what's available. And quite often it's sangers and
sushi,
wraps and sushi and stuff. And, you know, I guess it's about making some choices to make more things at home, to be, because you've got to be prepared to eat like this. It's not as easy to just rush out and get a lot of those things that you're talking about. So I guess you have to be prepared and do your shopping and do some prep at home, which is difficult for a lot of people.
Absolutely, because ADHD.
And time poor, some people got families and kids and things. So
there are some things that you can do that are high protein and really fast to make. And then there's also some kind of hacks you could do when you're out to eat as healthy as you possibly can when you're out and about at lunch. So first of all, a couple of boiled eggs, right? There's your serve of protein right there. So a couple of boiled eggs on a bit of whole grain toast. You can actually on a Sunday night boil 10 eggs and chuck them all in the fridge. Boil them all in one pot, then you drain off the water and you stick them in the fridge, and then there you go. Like that didn't take you any time at all, and it's also going to save you money because eggs are not like crazy expensive, right? Unless you live in America right now, because apparently they're really expensive there.
Yeah, unless you buy organic eggs. And
okay, buy what you can afford, right? But this isn't about, I'm not going to shame you for not having free range organic, like this is all about protein right now. Do what you can afford. And so then you can like go and get a packet of like mixed salad leaves from Coles.
Yes.
right? $3, lasts you a few days, 2 boiled eggs. Right?
Yeah.
Or a few chickpeas. That's meant to hate tinned tuna because, you know, like heavy metals and all that. But, you know, if you get desperate, tinned tuna, right?
Tin of
On your
tuna's
salad.
better than a taquito.
It sure is. And
Yeah.
it's better than McDonald's, right?
Yep.
So it's about making like little changes and doing the best you can in that moment with the budget you've got, with the time you've got, with the bandwidth and capacity that you've got. Because I know cooking doesn't come naturally to everyone, but you can get like packets of coleslaw from the supermarket ready-made, packets of salad ready-made from the supermarket. Ditch the dodgy coleslaw dressing and put on like a good quality mayonnaise instead. Or and then in terms of like the salad leaves you get from the supermarket, like just make up some like balsamic vinegar, olive oil and mustard in a jar.
Oh,
and
that's
again,
a good little dressing that you do.
like
That's
make up 5 days supply of that, like make up a whole little jar of that and then put a little bit on each day. Or you know,
but don't put it on the night before, people.
No, don't put it on the night before it goes soggy.
Now, if we could just go back to breakfast, and I have to throw in my and all this is great because I can eat the same thing every day and I don't get sick of it, because that's just how
I
my
think
brain
that's like
works.
the autism coming out for you.
It's just how my brain works.
Yeah.
So I've found a fantastic brekkie, and I did struggle a bit with brekkie because I'm a late sleeper, and anyway.
Yeah, he's a hard to get out the door kind of gentleman.
Yeah, so I've you know, those protein smoothies, and smoothies are the best thing ever. With a quality protein. I don't eat dairy, so it's I don't know.
It's like a raw paleo.
It's a raw paleo protein. We get it for wholesale.
You.
But you know, a big scoop of that, some cashews, water, a banana, and some frozen blueberries.
Yep. Do you want to know the exact? I know the exact recipe because I give it to clients all the time.
Well, anyway, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. And I whiz that up in the morning.
I'll put the recipe in the show notes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my coffee's first.
Dear listener, you're supposed to get the food in the tummy first and then the coffee to save your old adrenals, but you know,
boring.
Yeah.
So anyway, you do it however you want. You do it in whatever order you want. But I know it's tough sometimes in the morning, and man, it's so quick, it's so easy, and because it's protein laden, and it's for us, it's good quality non-dairy. You know, it's not whey protein. So I'm getting my protein.
You can get good quality whey protein.
Yeah,
but the problem is a lot of ADHDers and people with autism diagnosis as well. A lot of autistic people and ADHDers have got gut issues and often do worse on dairy. Like there's a really big connection between dairy intolerance and symptoms getting worse in those communities. So we're just giving you dairy-free options in case you're one of those people and you've already discovered that dairy is not your friend. If dairy is your friend, we're really happy for you.
Do it.
Yeah,
you do use.
Yeah.
But you know, for me that works. I think I have that, man, for 5 or 6 days out. Seven, except for when we go, but that is just, it's so quick and so easy, and all I have to do is remember to buy bananas and nuts, and it's just so quick and easy, and I'm full till, you know, depends, sometimes
midday,
10 or 11, and that's good for me because I'm always hungry. I might be skinny, but I'm always hungry. So for me that works really great.
And then we've also discovered with your job as well recently that you've needed like high protein snacks and things to eat on the run to get you through the day. So
yeah, we do.
What have we been doing?
So we've been making tiny little individual quiches, frittatas.
Yeah.
They're so easy. I made when Jules made lunches. Just some little muffin tinny silicon tray.
Muffin tray.
We grate in some, what's that green thing?
Zucchini dal. That's called zucchini dal.
Frozen corn maybe, and maybe some bacon.
Chopped capsicum. Yeah, we've been putting bacon in there because I know you love it. And
whip up the eggs and pour it all out into these things, and boom, 20 minutes, I've got 2 little mini frittatas every day for a week.
Yep.
And because I noticed as an ADHD and in my current job delivering mail and trying to schedule and remember everything if I'm shit, basically.
Yeah.
My afternoon goes to shit, and you know, I think the ADHD symptoms are made worse.
I know at my desk job, if I don't keep my blood sugar stable on the days that I'm at my desk the most, if I'm up and moving around, that's different. But if I'm just sitting at my desk working, like on a client day, I have to be really careful with the carbs that I eat, because I'm pretty sensitive to that. And if I get the balance wrong, if I don't eat enough protein with each meal, or if I eat some starchy carbs, like I'm literally brain fog descends on me.
Yep.
And then I find it really hard to focus. I really feel like an ADHD, and that's when I'm like, oh my God, like, you know, when will this stop? Like, and so in that moment, nothing's going to pull you out of that rut, that funk. Like, the trick is to not get into that problem in the first place, because then, like, once I'm in it, there's nothing that'll get me out of there except for like coffee. And you know, you don't want to have to rely on that to get you through the day, because it's not good for my nervous system.
No, and when your barista husband is out of the house, you've got no one to make you coffee.
I know, but sometimes, dear listener, he'll make an extra shot and put it in the fridge, and then I'll add like coconut milk to it in the afternoon, because he's so nice to me. But yeah, look, you know, we know it's really hard. We know that ADHDers are not always food prep champions, but like little steps can make such a big difference. And honestly, if you can nail breakfast, that'll get you through to lunchtime focused and more alert and happier. So if you can just nail breakfast and get through to lunch, like, you're already halfway through your day.
Just try it.
Just give it a go.
Just give it a go.
Give it a go. Increase your protein. Watch out for those starchy carbs. Ditch the sugar. And just see if it works for you. And then if it does, or if it doesn't, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Also, I think we just have to mention here, because we're talking about ADHD, for those of us that struggle to eat on medication. Now, it wasn't me. I have to be honest here. When I was taking dexamphetamine, I was hungry as anything. I couldn't stop eating. I was always hungry.
You're so weird.
It doesn't apply to me. But when people struggle to eat, and also water, pretty much all I drink is water. I've always got water with me. Yeah. Water, people. Drink lots of water.
But yeah, if you're on stimulant meds and you're struggling to eat, just try and get small amounts into you more frequently. That's one good trick, because like, you'll eat a few bites and then you'll be like, oh, I'm done. That's okay. Make sure those few bites are good quality protein, you know, like those little mini frittatas or something like that, or some like peanut butter on slices of green apple, or like whatever you can do to just get something in. And look, build on that. And like, I find that drinking a bit of like lemon juice in water helps to kind of make me a bit more hungry, or a little bit of apple cider vinegar in water makes me a little bit more hungry. I know, don't make that face. It's really good for you, because it stimulates your stomach acid production, and then you can actually like feel a bit more hungry for your food. But yes, small amounts frequently, rather than putting all the pressure on lunchtime to get it in. Like, try, like, I will sometimes even, I'm not on stimulant medication anymore, but like, I even now try and just sometimes have small amounts of food in between clients rather than one big lunch. So yeah, give that a go. And like, there's always protein shakes. You can have some protein powder in water, and you know, a piece of fruit. And like, if that's the best you can do, celebrate that. You did something good.
Yep. And I know it's hard. I did get the dry mouth with a couple of the medications that I tried, and it's hard.
That's why smoothies are good.
And there's no amount of water that quenches that thirst.
No.
So I hope that's been helpful for people.
Let us know. Let us know what works for you as well, because we'd love to keep the conversation going on social media.
Yeah, I think it's an important conversation to have. Nutrition is everything.
Yeah.
You got to put in good things so that you get good things out. Now, frequent listeners will understand that this has been a massive issue for me, remembering my own details and website stuff. So, Julie.
Yes, James.
On the gram, you can find us at LD_ADHD.
Yes.
On Facebook, You can
Yes.
find us at Late Diagnosis ADHD. And if
Yes,
you're watching
James.
on YouTube's, you'll notice I have to look down and read
Well, we're
this.
not on YouTube's yet. We haven't decided that
Yeah,
yet.
no,
But
we haven't. Well,
if
I
we're
think we
on-
should,
if-
because we're pretty
Oh no,
handsome
we are,
couple,
but we
aren't we?
don't know what our YouTube handle is, but we'll know by next week.
Yeah, YouTube.
Anyway, and what are we on the web, James?
On our website, our web address is Late Diagnosis ADHD.
He's reading it off the page.
Yeah, but at least I know it. So it's late
I'm proud
diagnosis
of you.
ADHD.com.